Good morning. I'm Jordan Slocum, and this is the Doane College Review here on 99.5 KUTT. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at the things going on around Doane College athletics, academics, and more. On today's episode, we'll talk with Doane women's golf coach Jeannine Foster. We'll also look at how Doane teams did this past week, including audio highlights from the football team's big victory over Dakota Wesleyan last Saturday. And we'll talk with Ramesh Langani, assistant professor of biology at Doane. We begin today with the Doane women's golf team, who wrapped up the fall portion of their season back on October 5th in the second GPAC qualifier round. Head coach Jeannine Foster talks about how they did.
Well, I was pleased with the hard work they put in, and it's a new team, young team. I lost three of my starters to graduation last year, so I've had some freshmen step in, and they're playing well for learning the game as far as the longer distances that the golf courses are set up. And so I've been really pleased with how the young freshmen have stepped in to fill in a couple spots. They've all been shooting very consistently. There's plenty of room for improvement, and that's what we worked on each week. So I saw a lot of progress through the season on little goals that they had set for themselves and that I had helped them with. And so, yeah, it was good. I was pleased with their efforts and the amount of hard work they put in.
Was there any area that stood out as having the most improvement from the start of the year to right now?
Probably their chipping and putting. That we worked a lot on that just simply because when you're playing a new course for the first time, you're going to get into a little trouble in the fairway. But chipping and putting can pretty much remain consistent on most courses. So we worked a lot on that just so they had that. If they had a few bad shots through the fairway, they could maybe make up a stroke or two on the green. So that was my goal this year, to make sure that they could at least compensate a little bit for playing a brand new course and knowing how to finish strong on a hole.
Talking to Doane women's golf coach Jeannine Foster here on the Doane College Review. Did you see anybody step up in terms of leadership out of the group?
Yes, they all did. They all knew that they had to all step up and fill in for some key players that we lost, and so I think the entire team did, even those that maybe didn't make the top five. They all worked hard. They competed well and did their best. So I was proud of my freshman Sarah Vaughn from Grand Island Central Catholic. She stepped in and played in the number one spot all fall season. So she probably, as a newcomer and fitting in and taking over as a freshman, taking over that number one spot, she did a great job. And so it was a good start for her, and she just fit in great with the rest of the team. So it was nice to see that team bonding that we had, and it's going to be a good spring season, I think.
Now you go into the winter here shortly, and then early spring before you get back going. What are some of the things you're able to do with the team during that downtime?
We will do some conditioning this fall. I won't have a lot of time to work on skills with them until February 1st, so that's when we'll start with skills again. They do have some facilities available to them to practice on their own, so they will try to incorporate that into their schedule. November we'll probably do more with conditioning and things like that, and then when they get back in February, well, end of January, we'll start back up with swing analysis, chipping skills, putting skills, things like
You had a couple of opportunities to see some of the other GPAC teams this year. What did you see looking at the competition?
Well, what I've noticed, and I've even noticed it at the high school level, is I think the girls are getting a higher level of instruction at an earlier age, and just watching swings at state golf this week, I noticed most of the girls' swings are fundamentally strong, so it seems to be carrying into our GPAC conference also. Scores are lower, more competitive, so we have more work to do to get caught up, and so I'm recruiting. My recruiting year for next year is going to be key to become competitive again for the next few years in the conference.
Again, we're talking to Jeannine Foster, the Doane women's golf coach, here on the Doane College Review. Earlier this week, the Nebraska High School Girls State Tournaments got wrapped up. Did you have an opportunity to check out any of the action with that?
Yes, I attended North Platte Class C, watched Class C on Monday, and then I was at Norfolk, watched Class A in the morning and Class B in Columbus in the afternoon. So I was able to attend all three classes, which is logistically not always easy, especially now that they've taken Class C out to North Platte. And I was able to swing it, and it was a great experience to spend a lot of time watching the girls play and meeting some coaches and some parents. So it was a good 2 days.
Last question, Coach. What are some of the biggest goals you have for your team going into the offseason?
Well, mostly I want to work on some fundamental things with, especially chipping and putting, tempo control. Those are things that we can work on indoors. And then spring, I just want to make sure that they have more shots available to them, maybe with a different club, learning to use a different club than they're used to using to get out of trouble. Just some little things that I didn't have a lot of time this fall working on. So those will be the types of things I'll work on. And then conditioning a little bit as far as building specific muscle zones for specific golf swings. I'll spend a lot of time this winter on that. So that's kind of the goals we have for the fall or the winter.
Once again, that was Jeannine Foster, the head women's golf coach at Doane, on this week's Doane College Review. Once again, this is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. I'm Jordan Slocum, and every Saturday morning from 8 to 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, and more. Still to come on this program, we will talk to Assistant Professor of Biology at Doane, Ramesh Langani. But first, we look back at how the Doane athletic programs did this past week. It starts back on Saturday when the football team, then ranked number 8, picked up a huge win over number 12 Dakota Wesleyan. Final score 42-17. Here are our highlights from our broadcast of that game last Saturday. Good afternoon and welcome to Al Papik Field on the campus of Doane College in Crete. Today it's homecoming for the 8th-ranked Doane Tigers as they host the 12th-ranked Dakota Wesleyan Tigers. Turner is hit from the blind side. Oh, he just got away from Pelletier, runs backwards to the 35, throws to the far sideline, caught at the sideline at the 40 by Brown. Brown gets the first down the sideline and gets to about the 21 before Tatum forces him out of bounds. Turning a handoff to Brown, off left guard, he's wrapped up, and he is stopped between the hashes. Colton Mock able to wrap him up. 4th down, and they will bring more personnel on, so it looks like they will settle for a field goal. And that's big for Doane to make them try a kick.
Two running back, two tight end. Klein in motion, gets it on an end around. 15, 10, near numbers 5, going for the pylon. He is in. Touchdown, Doane. Drew Klein. He had 2,000 rushing yards as a high schooler, and he gets a rushing touchdown there for Doane, and the Doane Tigers have the lead. Gets the snap from Shores, option. Pitch to Meyer, far sideline 50, 45, 40, he's gone, 30. Can the safety catch him? 15, 10, 5, he avoids him easily at the pylon. Nate Meyer, touchdown. Over 100 yards already in this game, a 51-yard TD run. Doane rushes 4. Turner has plenty of time. Airs it out deep over the middle, one-on-one. It's caught by Livingston at the 30 to the 20, 15-10. He is gone for a touchdown. Dustin Livingston just beat Tanner Thomas, and the throw was perfect from Dylan Turner, Dakota Wesleyan, their first touchdown of the game. Turner looking one-on-one for Livingston, catches it at the 5, far sideline, breaks the tackle, breaks a second tackle. He is in for a touchdown. Livingston gets his second touchdown reception of the game from Dylan Turner, a 15-yard strike. And it's now Dakota Wesleyan on top. Doane down 3 as we get ready for the third quarter. Sunny skies, mid-70s, wind in the face of Dakota Wesleyan right now. Kick is away, caught at the 10, near numbers, 15, end around. Klein has it from Thomas, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Can he beat the kicker? The kicker slowed him down, but not enough. To the 30, 25, 20, between the hashes, 10, 5, touchdown. Drew Klein, a kickoff return touchdown after Tanner Thomas caught it, handed it to him around the 15 or 20-ish. And Drew Klein said, "Thank you, Tanner. I would like this touchdown, please." And he took it to the house. Scrambles to his right, throws short, caught by Brown at the 40 sideline. Fumbles the ball right at the first down marker at the sideline, and looks like Doane has it. They're celebrating as if they have it.
Yep.
And it's Doane ball. Throws short, and it's bobbled. Sondrup ends up catching it, fumbles it at the near sideline. Dakota Wesleyan saying they have it, and they do. 4th down and 9 for Dakota Wesleyan, 36 yards from the end zone. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Turner waiting for the snap, 4 down lineman. Doane rushes 4. 3-step drop. Throw over the middle, incomplete at the 31-yard line. Great defense by Cole Wiseman, who hits the receiver right as the ball was coming to him, looking for Gus Haskell. Great defense from the safety. It's a turnover on downs. Play action. Stuart pumps, airing for the end zone, near sideline. Cornelius over the shoulder catch. Touchdown. Caught it 5 yards deep in the end zone. Jacob Cornelius. His 5th receiving touchdown of the season. 8th touchdown for Stewart. Peterson to punt it away from the 45. Right-footed kick. End over end to the near sideline. Caught. No, it's muffed at the 5-yard line. Did Doane recover at the near numbers? They're saying they did. And they did. Dustin Livingston with a muffed punt. Hand off to Meyer off right tackle. He is in for a touchdown. Nate Meyer gets his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Doane up 17 with a chance to make it 18. Mustafa goes in motion from right to left. Love at fullback. Meyer gets it off left guard, lowers his shoulder. No signal yet. There's the signal. Touchdown. Nate Meyer, his 3rd touchdown of the game. 14 play, 60-yard, 6.5-minute drive for the Doane offense. Turner, 4-step drop, gets away from the pressure, runs into the umpire. Ball is loose, and Franklin Crawford, the 3rd, it looks like, has it. The umpire and a couple of players were all bottled up at the 42, and then Turner lost the ball. And Doane comes up with the ball. It was Crawford who got it. It's a homecoming victory for the Doane College Tigers, 42-17 over Dakota Wesleyan. You know, in the pregame show, Coach, we talked about how special teams could be a big factor, and that 3rd quarter you had the kick return touchdown and a muffed punt, and that really put the momentum in your guys' favor.
You're right. At halftime, I told the team this, not at halftime, but after the game here, I was worried at halftime because it felt like the momentum was just on the other side, and it felt like offensively we were really, really starting to stagnate. Felt like last year up there in the fourth quarter, that kick return right out of the gate, boy, that just changed everything. That sparked it. We got the lead back, and like you said, the muffed punt there late, third quarter, gave us the ball at the 1 yard line. We got a quick touchdown, and that was probably the game winner right there. But, the best part is going into that bye week 6-0, and, we'll see how it goes, maybe move up a spot or two in the ratings, and things are good.
Once again, Doane on bye next week, 2 weeks from now. October 24th, they will be at Concordia. Kickoff at 1, pregame at 12:30.
This is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT, and those were the highlights from last week's football victory for Doane over Dakota Wesleyan. Remember, you can listen to Doane football on 99.5 KUTT, and as mentioned, they're off this week. They return to action next Saturday against Concordia. In other football news, they're now ranked number 6 in the country following the victory over Dakota Wesleyan. And the Doane football team swept the GPAC Player of the Week honors for their performance. Running back Nate Meyer was the Offensive Player of the Week, defensive end Jordan Pelletier the Defensive Player of the Week, and Ryan Klein was the Special Teams Player of the Week. As for other Doane teams, last Saturday the volleyball team traveled to 14th-ranked Dordt College and fell in 4 sets, and the soccer teams traveled to Northwestern College. The men played them to a 1-1 draw, with the women falling 2-1. In men's golf, on Monday and Tuesday, they wrapped up their fall season, finishing 3rd out of 5 teams at the Roger Dorr Invite. And like the women's golf team, they will return to action in the spring. Also on Tuesday, the soccer teams traveled to Midland University. The men won in overtime, 2-1, with the women falling 3-1. On Wednesday, the Doane volleyball team was victorious on the road in 3 sets at Nebraska Wesleyan. Then on Friday night, they were victorious in 3 sets again, this time hosting Mount Marty College. Once again, this is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. It's now time to wrap things up with our interview with Ramesh Langani, Assistant Professor of Biology at Doane. First off, Doane has one of the top-tier biology programs in the area. What are some of the things that makes Doane stand out?
I think one of the things that makes Doane, the Doane biology program stand out is really because we have centered our curriculum around turning students into critical scientific thinkers, and we are really students to be engaged in actual science. So what that means is our students are answering questions that we don't know the answers to from the day they get here. So they are designing experiments themselves. There are no predetermined outcomes to those experiments. And we are also really focused on having them learn professional development skills. So things like how to clearly present their findings in a public venue. These are all skills that you learn by doing science, not just watching it. So we are really intentional about designing our entire curriculum from a student's first semester all the way through their 4 years here, where to engage them in actual science, to put them on the cutting edge of our understanding of biology.
So are the things that you just talked about the biggest reasons why you wanted to come to Doane?
Yes. So when I started at Doane, I was really excited about not only the biology department, but the school in general, and how we approached teaching and learning. We all, again, across the campus, but obviously my experience is very much in the biology department. We really wanted our students to be engaged in cutting-edge science. I know I've said that a couple of times, but it's really a lot of programs, I believe, rely on sort of a memorization and regurgitation sort of model. And what that does is I think it really squelches curiosity. It implicitly sends the message that science is figured out, that science is really a list of disconnected facts, that all you have to do is memorize them, and then you're a scientist, when in fact that can't be farther from the truth. And while learning biological information is important, it's also important that you can apply that information to ask new questions and to answer those questions. And so that's really what we do here, and that's what was really exciting to me about the Doane biology department.
This is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT, talking to Ramesh Langani, an assistant professor of biology at Doane. And you mentioned, and this is true in other disciplines as well, obviously, how there's so much of a focus on just memorizing things instead of actually, learning and working on those things. As a professor, how do you approach that to make sure that the students aren't just memorizing facts, but that they are engaging the material?
I think in the biology department, the way we approach that is by providing the students an opportunity to answer scientific questions that we don't know the answer to. So, for example, many of the students here at Doane are working on independent research projects with their academic advisors in the biology department. And what's great about that is that student becomes a colleague because we are both exploring the unknown. And so, to be honest, there are no real facts for them to memorize when we are exploring something new. We're really trying to figure things out logically. We're trying to answer questions and draw conclusions based on evidence. And so by engaging students in real scientific research with questions that we don't know the answer to, the memorization part of it really, I don't want to say it falls to the wayside, but that model is really difficult to employ when we're generating new information.
Again, this is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. Now, I understand that Doane received a new grant for STEM students recently. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So last year, a few members of the Doane Science Division applied for some funding from the National Science Foundation, and this funding was for a grant to support students going into STEM disciplines. So this is scholarship funds for students going to STEM disciplines. And the disciplines that we focused on were biology, chemistry, biochemistry, physics, and environmental science. Those 5 disciplines, we received funding. We received over $600,000 in federal scholarship funds from the National Science Foundation, and those students that apply to the program and are accepted, depending on their financial need, can receive up to $10,000 a year per year. Now, again, I want to emphasize that those scholarship funds are for STEM students focused in those 5 areas that I mentioned before, and it is a financial need-based scholarship. So this past year we have a cohort of 8 students, and we are looking for a second cohort next year of about 12 to 16 students. And that support, that financial support is guaranteed for all 4 years, assuming the student maintains certain academic standards in the program. So it's really can be quite a bit of support for the students all throughout their time here at Doane. And we're really, really excited about it. We've also built a lot of sort of programmatic infrastructure around those students. So all of our students in the Success program, we're calling it, all those students live together in sort of a wing of a dorm. We have a resident advisor that is designated. We call this person their STEM RA. STEM standing for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. We have a STEM RA that is dedicated just to those students to help them transition from high school to college science. We also have specialized classes that just those students take so that we can really immerse them in science and all the amazing things that science can do.
And it sounds like it's really good, too, to get people with similar interests together so they can work together on some of these projects.
Absolutely. And I would argue what's really great about the program, because it's interdisciplinary, it also brings together not just like-minded individuals, but it brings together people who might not normally interact, because a biologist may not normally interact with a physicist. But in the courses that we've built for these students, we're going to be taking on interdisciplinary problems that require understanding of both things like physics and chemistry and biology and environmental science, because that's really what, as our students leave here, the world has complex problems, and we can no longer rely on single groups of scientists to solve those problems. Most scientific problems these days require the viewpoints from a lot of different disciplines in order to really get at the heart of a problem. So that's what we're hoping to build with this program, a community of students that has no problem interacting regardless of whether you're a biologist or a physicist. Our hope is that through this program, our students can take advantage of the different viewpoints that each particular science type brings to a particular issue.
Again, I'm talking to Ramesh Longani, the assistant professor of biology here on the Doane College Review. And certainly teaching that collaboration is so incredibly important because, like you mentioned, in science and in life in general, you're not going to be able to do everything by yourself, even if you want to. You have to be able to collaborate and put everything together.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, every year employers put out surveys asking, and they're asked, what are they looking for in new employees, and what are they looking for from new college graduates? And invariably, they ask for things like collaborative skills. They ask for ability to think outside the box. They look for critical thinking skills. They look for communication skills. All of these important professional development skills are things that are focused on in the Doane biology program because we recognize how important they are beyond college.
Last question, Ramesh. What are some of the biggest projects going on right now with Doane biology?
Sure. We actually have quite a few big projects going on. One of my colleagues is looking at biofuels using algae. So as we look for alternative fuel sources, algae may become a viable fuel source, and we have undergraduate students working on that project. We also have faculty members looking at, and this is particularly relevant here in Nebraska, we have a faculty member working with undergraduates looking at cold tolerance in corn. Again, corn is a really important, obviously a very important economic driver here in the state, and so understanding corn's ability to withstand harsh environmental conditions is really, really important. We also have faculty members looking at microbial processes, particularly something called a biofilm, and these are, to put it simply, it's sort of a layer of bacteria that communicate, that form on surfaces. So the most simple one that I can think of is plaque on your teeth. So plaque on your teeth is a biofilm, and what allows those biofilms to form? What can we do anything to stop that? Now, while I'm not sure if my colleague, Dr. Barbara Clement, is working on plaque per se, biofilms in general is an important topic, and there are a variety of places where things like biofilms form. So those are just some of the projects we're working on. Our students are working on, outside of those few areas, our students are working on a wide variety of questions that I could go on and on and on about, but I won't in the interest of time.
And that's just the exciting thing about science in general, is that there's always going to be more questions. As soon as you think you have all of the answers, that just makes more questions come from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why we're so excited not only about the Success program, but we're so excited about the curriculum and the program that we've built here in the Doane biology in the Doane biology department. We really want to show students that science is not bound by the covers of a textbook. We want to show them that science is not, again, a list of facts to memorize. It really is a process in which you engage in, and it really it pushes our students into a mindset that they have to be lifelong learners. And once you sort of recognize that you are a lifelong learner, that skill set stays with you well beyond college.
Once again, that was Ramesh Longani, Assistant Professor of Biology at Doane College. And that wraps up this weekend's edition of the Doane College Review. Remember, the Doane College Review is on the air from 8 to 8:30 every Saturday morning here on 90.5 KUTT. I'm Jordan Slocum. Until next time, farewell.